and deep in prayer next to a closed door. At first, my contractions were easy to breathe through, but as the hours passed, they loomed over me like grey waves on a winter beach, each one harder to scale until I was exhausted and panicking. I felt like a small child again, knocked over and held down, except that it was pain and not seawater crushing me. Paul was falling apart. He wasn't going to save me. Framed by a blue headscarf, the midwife's serene face was my lifeboat, all that stood between me and certain death, and I kept my eyes on her until each contraction faded. "It's only going to get more intense until it's over," said Paul, and I tried not to swear, knowing that if I started I probably wouldn't stop. "If they're happy to give you an epidural, you should take it." "Fine. Whatever works. I don't care." "Is there anything else I can do?" "Stop talking," I muttered between clenched teeth as another wave hit. Some time later, a man with tightly curled hair and green eyes appeared, waiting patiently for me to stop thrashing around on the bed so he could slip a needle into my spine, delivering a numbing anesthetic that halted both the pain and the momentum of labour. On it went, the night getting old and the snow falling outside and my blood pressure soaring higher as the epidural wore off and more people appeared, soft-focused strangers coming into the room, checking a machine that rolled out a message of mountainous lines. I had never realised that in childbirth, the baby is working with you, striving as hard to begin its life as you are to deliver it, and that you were doing this intense labour together. No one told me that, nor did I realise that through all the external chaos of childbirth, there would be a silent centre, enclosing the two of us. We communicated. That's not the word exactly, because the word doesn't exist, but I felt the baby's intention and animal focus as it made its slow way into life. An empty hospital crib plugged into the wall was the finishing line, waiting to be turned on at some indefinite endpoint. Outside was that grotty dawn that always appears after a sleepless night. And then it was Monday morning, and there were more people in the room, an obstetrician and his students, another doctor standing at my side, 2 more for the baby, a student midwife. Finally, the baby was yanked from me in 2 distinct pulls, a sudden blue form in the antiseptic air, landing on my belly for a second, long enough for my hand to cup the warm, wet head and slide down the slippery back, and for Paul to tell me it was a boy, before someone snatched him away and took him to a far corner of the room. Raising my head, I looked past the faces of the obstetrician and the medical students to the 2 silent figures, their heads down, their backs blocking whatever they were doing in that corner. Silence. On and on and on, as I stared in the direction of the baby, willing him to breathe. And then, finally, a weak yet distinct scream. I dropped my head back to the pillow and closed my eyes. The night's grip released me and slipped from the room. When I opened my eyes, the doctor standing at my side, an Asian woman with the kind, tired face of a mother herself, smiled and said very quietly, "Well done." "Thank you." Another doctor walked towards us, holding the baby, now wrapped in a white towel. Paul held out his arms and took the bundle, and he was no longer a potential emergency, a problem to be solved. He was ours. "Do you want to hold him, Simone?" Through half-closed eyes I shook my head. He was here, and he was alive, and that was enough. Right now I needed to monitor everything that was still being done to me, and let my breathing return to normal. Paul gazed down at the bundle in his arms. Was he stunned, like me, that there was suddenly a baby in the room? He looked so solemn. What was it? Apprehension? A kind of